Hi. So I tend to be a good listener, maybe only 20 to 30% of the time. And it's usually because I think of it as a priority or something that I'm very interested in. So, a good example of that is when I'm listening to my boss at work, who I respect a lot, have a close relationship with, and I really value her advice. Then I'm able to practice kind of all the elements of listening. And then the other time is when I'm talking to a very close friend, whether it's on the phone or in person. I notice that I care a lot about who they are, and I try really hard to understand who they are and what they're going through. So then I'm able to practice all the elements of listening. So I say only 20 to 30% of the time because I do also have an ADHD diagnosis, so that makes it a lot harder to focus my attention otherwise. And then on faulty listening behaviors, an example that I have in my life is I have a friend that I used to be really close with, whose name is Ezra. And I think a common feedback that I've heard from other people of Ezra is that his listening skills are fairly poor, partly because he's a very self centered listener. Meaning that he tends to fill all of the gaps in a conversation with something about himself, and everything that you talk about, he kind of reframes from his perspective. Um, and you can tell that when you're talking, he is thinking about how he thinks or how it applies to him, and is constantly looking for an opening to talk himself. And then, let's see, in terms of me, faulty listening, I would say the most common faulty listening that I fall into is either pseudo listening or selective listening. So I'd say pseudo listening because of my ADHD, I'm really good at getting distracted and diverting my attention, or having my attention on two different places or splitting my attention. So it kind of seems like I might be nodding along, but I actually am also thinking about something else. So pseudo listening or selective listening, because I have ADHD. When I do get interested in something, I might hyper focus on it, and only want to listen to that. And then in my life, I've noticed that there are times where I will remember and listen to the positive aspects of a conversation instead of maybe the negative aspects. So I've noticed that when I recall a conversation with my friends, their perspective on what happened may have been a little bit more negative, and versus my more optimistic view or from my listening. And then in terms of poor listening, I'm really unable to practice all of the elements of listening when I'm stressed. So when I'm stressed because of work or something personal, that's all I can focus on. And it kind of clouds everything else in my head. So I'm completely unable to pay attention or even make the effort to show that I'm listening, and will often kind of take over a conversation and talk about the thing that I'm stressed about. That's it. Thank you.